Welcome back to another Farming Simulator 25 video, and the first in a series of videos on Courseplay. And we're going to start off with how to download Courseplay. There are two places you should download Courseplay from: ModHub once it's available, and GitHub. Currently, it is only available on GitHub, and this is how you download it from GitHub. So you might go to one of two pages on GitHub. I will link you directly to this page. You might also land on this page. If you do, just go over to the right hand side, click on releases. It'll take you here, and then click on the .zip file. It'll download it into your downloads folder. You're then going to need to copy it from there into your mods folder. I'll show you how to do that in a second. If you've gone to anywhere else, don't download it. Use the links that are down below. The best that's going to happen is that you are supporting someone else with ad revenue and you're not supporting the mod creator. You potentially are not getting the most up-to-date version. The worst that can happen is that you're going to download a virus. There were examples in FS22 where people uploaded versions of mods that deleted all of the FS22 save games and mod folders. Could be much worse in there. So stick to the creator's GitHub page or ModHub. So you've downloaded the mod. It's in your downloads folder. Here it is, FS25 Courseplay. We're going to right click on that. We're going to do cut. You're then going to navigate to My Documents, My Games, Farming Simulator 25. You're going to go into mods. You're going to right click. You're going to paste. And that's it. That's as simple. That's all you need to do. Or once it's released on ModHub, you can just download it through the game as you normally would. As I've said, please currently only download it from GitHub. Anywhere else, one, you are risking it not being an official version of Courseplay. Two, it's the creator's wishes. He has a statement on his website that you only download it from GitHub. So do that. I'll see you in the game, and we'll go through how to get to grips with using Courseplay for the first time. So you've downloaded Courseplay, you've got it installed. How do we use it? First thing you want to do is to bring up the HUD to control it. You can do that in two ways. The first one is to right click with the mouse button. That brings it up. Or you can press the delete key. And you'll see now we have our mouse cursor to control it. If you want to get rid of that, you press the right mouse button. That lets you move the view about. Right mouse button to bring it back. If you've got auto drive installed, that switches to the middle mouse button. So that's something to bear in mind. To get into the settings, we left click on this icon here. There's a really useful help section, which is pretty good. Some features currently aren't available as this is in development, but it is a very useful section. I'm going to go through some of the settings now because they are useful as we go through. First one, Courseplay driver wages. Now you can use this to adjust how much workers cost. This can be useful for a couple of things. One, worker wages are very expensive. You can use it to adjust that. One way that I've used it is you could set it to 0, and then you could deduct a fixed amount every day to pay for the workers that you use. Automatic repair, so there's several options for this. So there's at 70% it will repair the vehicle, at 25% it will repair the vehicle. Don't repair, so I tend to have it on or keep it healthy, and this will constantly charge you to keep the vehicle repaired. I like it on don't repair. Fuel threshold, and what this will do is it will stop the worker when the fuel gets below a certain point. Broken threshold, again, this will stop the worker when the vehicle is at a certain amount of damage, and as it's set at the moment, it won't. I tend to keep it at this setting. Stop harvesters if it's raining. You probably want this activated most of the time because you will take a yield hit if it's raining. Anytime you might want to deactivate this is if you're doing things like root crops, which don't take a yield hit in the rain. And then you do have the option now to enable fruit destruction for workers. So you've got deactivated. I think you could actually do this before with Courseplay maybe. So deactivated, activated for Courseplay, and then activated for all helpers. We'll leave it deactivated for now. And then under user settings, we've got expert mode. You probably want to have this activated. We will for future videos. Show all courses on the map. Show courses on the mini map. Action events. This will give you pop-ups as Courseplay is doing things. Show info text window. So if I go out of here, that's this, and this will give you information as the Courseplay workers are doing things. Prefer custom fields. If you've created custom fields, I'm going to do a separate video on custom fields. If you've got custom fields created, you probably want to have this activated, and then distance units in meters or feet. We have meters, obviously. Vehicle settings. So show course. This you can control in the HUD. So I would just leave this default as this. Open HUD with mouse. I like to have this deactivated because I have a habit of right clicking. So this means I just use the delete key. Fuel save. So this will stop the vehicle while it's waiting for things. It means things might take a little bit longer, but you might as well have that activated, I guess. Only turn in field. If you're on a, also on a modded map where things are quite tight, that's worth having activated to avoid crashing into things. Maybe if you're on a map where you've got water around fields, you probably want that to be activated. Avoid driving in fruit. If you're worried about a realism point of view, or if you've got worker destroys fruit on, you want that activated. Allow reverse for pathfinding. Yes, it allows the vehicle to reverse. Definitely, unless you've got a dolly trailer, maybe. Folding at the end of a course. Now, this can be useful or not. So, if you expect Courseplay to have completely finished at the end, it's useful. Or if you're going to, because it's neater. If you expect to have to tidy up at the end, you might want to deactivate that. Say if you're expecting Courseplay to have missed some bits, can save you a bit of time. Return to the start at the end, sometimes useful. If you are using Courseplay, if you're working with auto drive, you've used auto drive to send a worker off to a field, and you want it to return to the start point at the end. Raise and lower early or late. I quite like to raise, late, lower, early, because that reduces the amount of missed points. Tool offsets should be calculated when you do course creation. Field speed you can probably leave as is, to be honest, unless you're doing things with cheaty speeds for working. Debug, unless you need to send information into the Courseplay guys to help with bug fixing, leave as deactivated. We'll talk about creating courses in a moment. We'll talk about course management in a moment, once we've created some courses. And as I said, we've got the help section. So let's talk about creating a basic course. So what we're going to do is, we actually don't even need to drive into the field. Let's just close that for a second. We'll get our HUD, because we can do it all not in the field. If you drive into the field, Courseplay will usually detect the field straight away, but we'll get the HUD up with the delete key. If you click on no course, that will bring up the course generator. And if we just move the map around, we can move that around a little bit. So we've got different modes of work, and I will cover more of them in detail in future videos. We can probably just flick through some. We can't really click through them because we've only got fieldwork implement on the back. So I will cover them in future videos as to what the different options are. But you've essentially got fieldwork, bale collecting. You can do bunker silo work. There's a front loader option. In fact, I think we can do them in here. Yeah, so we've got field work, you can do bale collecting and wrapping, you can do vineyard work, there's a harvester unload option, you can do bunker silo work, silo loading. That's using the roper mouse. I've not played with that one before, and there's a wheel loader, front loader option. That's really good when you can get it to work. I had a bit of play with that. Been a bit hit and miss, but remember, Courseplay is in development at the moment. So we go back to here. We will do no course. That gets you into the course settings mode. So you've got a few things to set here. Target position. That's if you're using the base game worker to bring you to the field, or auto drive. That's where you want the worker to drive to. So we'll set that. And then field position is the position of the field and roughly where you want Courseplay to try and start working. And it's a good idea to set these two to be relatively close to each other. And then where do you want to start at? I always try and set first waypoint. We're only going to do a single vehicle course. I'm going to do a separate video on multiple vehicles. We then go into fieldwork settings. Because we've got advanced options, we do get the multiple tools option. As I said, I'll do a separate video on that. Number of headlands. We are going to want to do headlands. I always recommend doing headlands. Depending on the size of the tool that you've got and area, you're going to want to do a few. For this, we'll do 2. Narrow field, interesting. So not familiar with that option, but as it says, generates the headland only at the short edges of the field. We're going to leave that deactivated on here. We're going to start working on the headland with this. It's a bit of personal preference, depends on the tool that you're doing, the job that you're doing, and if you favour realism to some extent. You know, say for example, if you were ploughing and you're a fan of realism, or you were seeding, you might do centre first. If you're combining, you would obviously do headland first, that kind of thing. Sharpen headland corners, so that you can activate or deactivate that. I'll try and put a picture up. Actually, there's a really good picture that they've got, so you can do a rounded corner or not. And then you can pick how many rounded corners you want, and the rounded corner is just a little bit easier on Courseplay. And if you've got, again, a field with a tight boundary, say with a fence around the edge, you probably want a rounded corner at the first one or 2, and then it'll go to sharp corners. We'll do a rounded corner just to demonstrate that. You can pick the headland direction. Headland overlap is literally how overlapped the headlands are, and then field margin lets you go a little bit wider or narrower over the edge of the field. I'm going to leave that at 0 for now, but as it said, a positive value brings you in from the edge of the field a bit, a negative value takes you out a little bit, and those are in meters. And then field center, you can go up, down, and that just works, you know, it just goes up and down the field working across. You can go around it in a spiral. You can do lands, and what lands are is it will break the field up into essentially blocks of rows and then work on those. And then the racetrack runs around a little bit like a spiral, but it just does the ups and downs working its way in. I'm going to leave it on up down for now. It's in the direction that you do the center. Even row width is a really nice one. What that does is it will adjust the working width slightly so you don't end up with one really small run on the edge. Rows follow field edge curve. Not played with that one before, but it essentially aligns it up with the nearest field edge. And then direction of rows, automatic is the safest one, but if you want to force the field, the up down rows to go in a certain direction, you can. And then island settings, if you're doing islands, you can choose the number of islands that you want to do. So we're going to hit, and I'll cover that more in so islands actually is if you've got things like trees in a field, how it behaves with those, and I'll cover those in more detail in a field where we have those. We don't have them in this. We're going to, just for now, generate a field course. So what we can see is with our headland, we've got our first headland has the curved corners. Our second one has the sharp corners, and then we just go up and down and across the field. And then you can start the job here and go out and it'll start. Or I'm just going to stop it. If or not, or you can choose have it on first waypoint, be out here, and just click on the arrow and it'll start as well. If for whatever reason, so currently we have it to show the start and the end point. If you want to see more of the course, you can click on the little eye here. This one will show you the next segment of course, or click again, it'll show you the whole course. So there seems to be a little bit of a bug at the moment with being able to get rid of the arrow to be able to change the view. So obviously it's nice to be able to see the course, but not so great from an immersion point of view. So we can get rid of that. We've got now in the mini HUD the time left to complete the course, number of waypoints left. This will vary a little bit if you have to stop or anything. Now, what if you have to go away from the game for whatever reason, or you need to stop or whatever? So if you just want to stop the working, you can just click on the play button and it will stop. If you want to start again, what I would recommend is you just back up a little bit, and then you can just go left click on down here, select last waypoint, click on play, and the worker will do its thing and get you back on track. Get going again. That's one way to restart, and it'll carry on. The other option is you can select the nearest waypoint and then it'll just carry on like that. If you wanted to copy the course and transfer it to a different vehicle, you can click the little clipboard down here, and then let's say we wanted to transfer the course to this vehicle, you would then click on the clipboard and then it's copied into this vehicle. What if you wanted to save the course? Say you had a 6-meter seeder and you wanted in the future to come back and seed this course. So what we do then is we get, it's a little bit of trouble getting the cursor back up. We get the cursor back up, we click on here, we go to this one, which is the save menu. We want to create a folder first. So we click on create new folder and we give it a name. So whatever you want to call it. Yep, that was really well spelled. I just need to I want to get the field name. So it's field 4. So we go back into the menu. And then we click save course. We've got the folder selected. So I'm going to go back out. I'm going to get the save game menu. Went further than I wanted. So let's go back to here. Go back to save. So save course. You might get asked to click on the folder if you've got more than one folder. We're going to go field or 6 meters. Click OK. So if you want to delete the course for any reason, you click on change mode, delete entry, and then you click on there. If you want to delete a folder, delete entry, click on there, delete that. And then if you want to go back, change mode. So we're going to create a folder again. We're going to do create new folder, save and a reload to reset things. So create new folder, folder 1. I just want to demonstrate that if you've got more than one folder, so folder 2. So if we want to save course, so you need to select a folder, save course. So we've got field 0.46 meters. Okay, so we get this guy going again. That one last waypoint, so I did have to save and reload. And then if we went into this tractor, for example, cleared the course, and then we went into no course, and then we did select that, load course, and we then drove over to the field. We had show all up, you would see that we've got the course loaded. So that's really handy if you do a lot of work with Courseplay, and particularly if you're working with multiple implements and that sort of thing, or if you're doing multiplayer and you want to share courses with people. If you've got a multi-implement course and you're doing multiplayer, then you can obviously share the course. And I think that was everything that I wanted to show you guys today. So, as I said, there'll be a lot more videos to come. I just wanted to give you the basics so that you could get working with Courseplay today. Please remember that currently we are on version 8.0.2 and things are in development. Courseplay's only been available for a few days. As you can see, things are a little bit buggy still, but we've had 3 versions in about 4 days, so they are developing very quickly. Keep an eye on the GitHub, and if you're looking at this video in months or weeks after release, then probably a lot of these bugs have been ironed out. If you are looking at this fairly early and you find bugs, there'll be a link below to their page for reporting bugs. Please do that because it helps them with development. If you found this video useful, click the like button. Any comments, questions or suggestions, stick them below. If you do have genuine issues with Courseplay, please use their bug reporting page because I can't help fix those. And I'll see you next time.